Welcome back to Beyond the Pump, where we break down the business of fitness and nutrition. And today we're going to be jamming out on one of the most important recipes or ingredients to your success as a nutrition, as a fitness, or as a coach in general. Andrew, this was actually a topic that you wanted to talk about today. I'm going to throw it your way out of the gates. Why?
Critical thinking skills, but we can't package that and make it sexy, nor can we. We could teach critical thinking skills, but we can't really. I don't think that's going to set people up for success in 2026. But the thing that we do understand in our collective 4 decades of experience, the things we know to be true that coaches need to have nailed down are these 5 things. And we have something at the end that consolidates all of them, but you're going to make sure you stick around to hear about that. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. It makes a world of difference for us. With that said, most people don't want to be a poor starving artist. So if you have a service, or if you have a trade, or if you have a skill, or if you have a product, you need to be able to exchange that so you can continue to feed your family or yourself or your puppy. And that means that being able to collect payment is probably one of the most important things that will allow you to be successful, or at least to, take care of the items that you care about most. So something that every coach needs to make sure that they're having, if you don't have a payment platform yet, you need to make sure that you have a way to collect dollars in exchange for your expertise, your service, or your product. Steve, what are some payment processing services that you find a lot of entrepreneurs really use or find user friendly, especially if they're just starting out?
There's probably 2 or 3 big ones, and there's probably 20 to 30 easy ones that you can go down the road of getting. I'm honestly just going to throw one main one out there, and it's Stripe, mainly because it's free to sign up. Generally speaking, it's pretty quick to get approved for that. And it integrates with most anything that you could use, or it functions standalone on its own, where you can send out recurring payment kind of subscription link, or a singular full invoice payment link style item, and just does it on its own. So it's a pretty versatile tool. It can be as simple or as complex as you need it to be. So instead of go research 15 of them, that's going to be the single one that I would just say, like, hey, that's probably the main thing. Conveniently, Stripe also does plug into the tool that we're kind of talking about here, the overarching theme.
Yeah.
So you'll need a Stripe account anyways, and just go ahead and get it, and it powers all that payment processing on the back end, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. Don't do the Venmos and the PayPals and like all those things. You're asking for a problem with the IRS. You are asking for a accounting problem and headache for yourself. You're asking for a tracking problem. Keep those separate. Like, just get an actual one for your business. And the one I would honestly suggest is just Stripe.
Absolutely. And as you get more evolved, and as you become, certain points in scale, there might be better platforms. It's 2025. I'm sure that AI is going to change that a little bit as well. As you're looking at this stuff, that's something you probably want to check in on once a year, seeing what else is out there, just very briefly. And something that Steve does a really great job of, and we talk about in our school community, of just like the new things that are coming out, the new apps, tech, stuff like that. If you don't have a trusted resource, if you don't know where to begin, you can come and check it out in school. That'd be a good starting point for most people.
I'll teach the ones that are relevant, but I probably would only share one out of every far too many things that I'm trying to learn about at a given time. So
yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
He's an explorer for sure. You'd have to DM him. If you ask, well, maybe we'll start a Q&A post in there of like, hey, Steve, what have you found out this week? Or what acronym, or what platform, or what AI platform? But yeah, so, all that to say, payment processing is one really important one. What's one for you? I think we have 5 total.
I'm going to say the ability to handle inbound marketing efforts, like people giving you their information. So whether that be, I'll call it more the function of that. So whether it be a landing page, or maybe just a simple form, some version, if you want to go full bore on a website, which I don't think you need, but all of those, any of those, some way for people to easily give you their name, their email, their phone number is going to be a useful tool. That way you can move them through your pipeline and nurture them, have conversations with them, put them into whatever scenario they might need to go into. But a lot of people, it's like, hey, send me an email, send me a text. They're trying to do it in Sheets on Google, whatever. And again, like, you have 3 people you're watching after, like, not the end of the world. You're making notes on your phone, pretty simple. The moment you're doing more than that, or, funny story, The first nutrition coach that I signed up with, he sends me this payment link and I process the payment. Any transaction in this world today, like you pay for something over the internet, you almost immediately expect confirmation of said transaction. Otherwise, like, who got my money? What's going on? Is this a scam? Like something like that. My first nutrition coach, that was literally the thing. And what would happen is everything was disjointed. They would collect payment in one system. And then at some point in time, when they got around to it, they would manually send out an email from Gmail saying, here's the thing. Then I asked for a receipt, and then there was no receipt. And it was just like, this is clunky. It's not a great way to start a relationship when what we're conditioned to expect today as humans doesn't happen, right? So
Mhm.
having that ability to send communication on the back end, but more importantly, again, get the info in and then do with it as you need to is super important. And it just starts with like, take the hour to set it up now. In 1 year, I promise you it's going to buy back so much time.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And to expand on that, there's things that become more important as you reach certain points. And if you're just, again, onesies and twosies, most of this stuff is helping you solve the next problem, which is probably relevant for people that have 5 to 15 clients. These are things that become really important once you get that 10 client mark, where now you're more legitimized. And what does that require? And this is where the more you can get people into the expectation of, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm getting, I just paid you money, what am I getting? The shorter that feedback loop is, the faster that relationship really has the ability to build and garner that trust. We talked about payment processing. We talked about somewhere to manage and organize your leads. The next one is going to be the service agreement, where you don't want to have to haggle and like constantly go back and forth around what the nature of your relationship with your client is. And a good service agreement outlines clearly what you're responsible for, what they're responsible for. And that's usually you delivering services in a particular way. Do you give refunds? What's the payment policy? All that stuff that, again, you don't want to have to explain and constantly draw people's attention to, or you're chasing down invoices. You can invoice people. You can set up a recurring payment for onesies and twosies. You can collect stuff on Venmo, again, like onesies and twosies. But as you start to have to do that, onesies and twosies become tensies and twentysies. That doesn't even sound right. You ever heard someone say twentysies? No, that's crazy, right? Tensies is kind of nuts, but although it does roll off the tongue. And so all that to say, like, you don't want to chase one person down, or much less 10. So having a service agreement, having a recurring billing structure, back to the first one, those things allow you to focus on actually being a good coach if that's the thing that you care about. Now, you could do the other way too, and you can automate coaching and then just be the bill collector. I don't suggest that, because that doesn't turn out well for most people from a long-term client lifespan and lifetime value. But if that doesn't make any sense to you, we do have previous terminology in an episode, I think is in the 60s. Go check that out if you don't know what some of these lifetime value, cost to acquire, things like that mean. But that would be what I would say the third one is just get a basic service agreement that lines out what you're giving them, what you're getting from them, and what they need to give and what they need to get. And so if you can do that, good fences build good neighbors. You want to make sure that everything is as clear as possible around the expectations both ways.
Yeah, I think it just makes sense to make sure you have that. It doesn't mean that the black and white line of that agreement will never get
Yeah.
stepped on or crossed to an extent. It means that if you ever need to refer to something, you have it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the big thing. When somebody potentially tries to take advantage, or they're saying they
Yeah.
didn't get what you were supposed to deliver, or you didn't deliver what you were supposed to deliver, right? We want to
Mm-hmm.
protect them as well. So,
Yeah, well, and that's a good point real quick, in that there's a refund clause in most of these. And so if you don't do your part, like, are you going to give a refund? Are they going to be able to do that? And by the way, like, once refunds start happening, because they do at some point for everybody, Stripe and certain payment platforms, when you have like a chargeback, which is where they dispute the charge, and you can't furnish proof that they agreed to pay certain payment terms for whatever duration, they're going to get that money back. And God forbid that you've already delivered those services, and now you have to take that money out of your account, which really sucks. God forbid it's thousands of dollars for an agreement because someone refunds 12 months of coaching, you know?
yeah.
So those are just the things that protecting yourself down the road. But what's the next one, Steve?
The next one, and this is where I get myself in trouble, automations on the back end of a platform to just help your business move along.
Mm-hmm.
Functionally, think about it as simply as possible. Don't go way too far down the road. And what I mean by that is, Somebody submits payment, send them a receipt automatically.
Mhm.
Somebody schedules an appointment, send them a reminder 24 hours in advance and 1 hour in advance to make sure it's convenient to get on the appointment or how to get there, the instructions.
Yeah.
If you have some type of commitment, I'll remind you every Monday morning to make sure you do your check-in and waits and blah, blah, blah at home. Then can you automate a text message and just be that little extra of a level? Those
Mhm.
little things, like seriously building those automations, takes an hour if you don't know what you're doing, right? And with AI today, you can ask it, help me build this in here.
Mhm.
Super easy, but they save you so much time.
Yep.
More importantly than even the time savings is they generally guarantee it gets done. And that's probably the biggest thing from setting an expectation standpoint where, hey, I'm going to remind you about a thing. I'm going to help you with a thing. I'm going to be here to support you, whatever it is. And that's where the more you can help people follow through and you can follow through with your thing, the
Yep.
better off everybody's going to be, more likely to get the result. They're going to be like all that stuff that we care about.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've done a couple episodes on workflow automations. So again, if you haven't subscribed, like just go reference the YouTube channel or wherever you listen because it's literally called workflows and that's what we're talking about when we say automations. Because automations are the outcome, the workflows are how the automations tend to happen. And so as you're doing that stuff, I mean, keep in mind if you have a full-time job, which most people do because that's how they got to pay their bills, and you're looking to build a coaching business and you don't have these automations set up, you're going to have to manually go in there and do that. And God forbid you had a crazy day at work, your boss screamed at you, you had some clients that are upset with you, and now you're supposed to send someone an invoice and you forgot. And now that person, like you show up to the next session, and this is usually what I've seen happen with specific personal trainers is life happens, they forget to invoice, they show up, and now they feel weird asking the client. They've run out of sessions. Now they give that client a session for free. Basically, they've given up a free hour.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that happen when people don't have these automations or someone doesn't show up. And God forbid you don't have a no show or cancellation policy. Now the expectation is you eat the cost, is what most consumers will expect from a trainer or a nutrition coach. So you have to build those boundaries and you have to make sure that you reinforce or reference something, which is what a service agreement does. Hey, this is the thing. These are the clauses. I want to remind you, I'll give you one for free as a customer service gesture. Please don't do this again. Now you have something to burn those sessions against. And so, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree that automations will make your life so much easier. And they will also, as you hit a certain point, usually like 3 to 5 clients, things will start to slip through the cracks. The last one that I have before Steve reveals the secret recipe ingredient here is you need a good service delivery platform, right? If you're not taking notes, you're not writing programs, what are you doing? You're going to get left. If there's no reason for people to stay with you because there's no long-term plan, now you're just having to sell yourself every time that that person shows up and you got to figure out and do the song and dance. And it becomes very performative. It becomes not super effective because now you're not doing progressive overload. You're not doing principles of specificity. You're not enacting the specific adaptation to impose demands, which are general scientific principles that cause people to actually get results. And that still means 1 out of every 10 clients will probably get to their goal, but that'll be in spite of you, not because of you. And so
Yeah.
if you want to get that to the 50% marker, which is considered a gold standard, like if 1 out of every 2 clients gets from the time they start to their goal, that's considered really, really good. I think it's somewhere like 7% of people usually get to that point. So
Yeah.
finding something like a true coach, you know, we're developing our own right now, full transparency. I think that those types of platforms, Coach RX is actually probably the one that I suggest most coaches check out because they have an AI directly integrated in there. It's a little more of a specific methodology. So if you're not into the functional fitness stuff or you're not super into program design, that might not be the one for you. But point being is you need somewhere that both you and the client can see the program. The client can then start to enter information and then you can then nudge them forward. And if you're not doing that in 2025, you're going to get left behind and you're probably already being left behind. That would be my third ingredient. So Steve, what's the final razzle dazzle here?
You know, these components that we're talking about, as we alluded to here in the very beginning, it's all part of Rise CRM, which is a part of our coaching operating system. The bonus I'm going to throw in there. So Andrew and I enjoy building tools, and I've already alluded that I probably investigate and learn a lot, maybe too much, we'll say, but I do it on my spare time. Like last weekend, I built a voice AI agent that I can call and talk to now, which is entertaining to me.
It
Anyways,
pretends it's human. It pretends it's human. It's coming for
because
us.
it does what
Skynet's
it's
not
told.
far.
It does what it's told. But like, so, you know, one of the best tools so far that most people seem to really love is Persona Parker that we've put into Rise, where you have a good conversation for a solid 20 to 30 minutes, but through that you understand your personas, the people you're trying to sell your services to at a really high level. And the general outcome of that, I'll say high level, the most appealing one is in 20 to 30 minutes, you get 20 to 30 days of content ready to rock and roll. So you know what to go out and do for social media stuff. But you also start to understand the framing of your services for people, because you can now better articulate based upon their motivators, their words that they like to lean into and that they're okay with and they're good with. And it's just like that stuff is super helpful. Those are the tools that we're putting into Rise to ensure that everybody's getting everything that they need to be as successful as possible. And that's like the biggest thing, where a lot of times, and don't get me wrong, we have templates in our stuff as well. And there's a lot of other people out there selling templates too. And I'm not saying the templates are bad. They're great. But again, I go back to the core of why this operating system as a whole exists and the way we're building Rise to be a part of it is it's about you understanding the principles. If I write a template and certain words that I'm using and certain language and methodology that I'm using is going to appeal to a certain avatar, i.e. health coaches that are online, because that's who I'm writing stuff for, chances are there's an intent of that email that's probably not being taught, because here's this email that I'm going to give you. Just insert the name of your business and your name and repeat my story and do the thing. Will it work? Probably, but not all the time. And you're not going to understand why it was ever born. And you're not going to be able to relate it heavily to your personas, right? So that's some of the stuff that we're thinking through, where we want you to know those things. We want you to be ultimately empowered to go out and make the changes you need to create the success in your business. And oh, by the way, we're not charging hundreds and thousands of dollars. It's literally $97 a month for this stuff. Oh, yeah. And Rise is $97 on top of certifications, on top of business coaching, on top of health, nutrition, fitness templates, on top of marketing templates, right? Like, how do we make it affordable and accessible for everybody was really the methodology, but teach you the principles that should be the foundation of your business and your decision-making process.
When you think about Rise and having that CRM, that's the thing that you're getting. And then the Health Coaching Success Academy is a lot of the support and the understanding of why certain things work as a coach. And that does include some of the actual coaching aspects of it. What does a training program look like? Why is it created that way? And, you know, when we talk about health coaching a lot, health coaching is inclusive of fitness, nutrition, coaching psychology, and being able to work with medical professionals. And that's why health coaching is going to be such a prominent thing that we're seeing people getting licensed right now. They're board certified health coaches. And that's going to be the thing, that if you're not pursuing that, you will be left behind. You will have no choice but to charge less to attract clients than someone that has a board designation. And so when we think about that, yes, CRM, 100%. Take advantage of the Health Coaching Success Academy, which we throw in for people that are engaged in Rise, because having the CRM is great. Understanding how to become a better coach is also the thing that goes unspoken in the background that we bring to you and we make available for you at no additional cost. It's literally a package that you won't find anywhere else, frankly. And so we're doing that for the next couple months. If you want some details, you can reach out to us via Instagram. The podcast account is usually the best one, that actively giving people links and different things like that. Yeah, if you're not integrating an organization system, and if you have no idea who you're speaking to because you're screaming into the void, and when you're creating content, a lot of people don't want to create content because they have no idea where the content's going, who it's for, and they get paralysis by analysis. And so by using something like Persona Parker, or using any kind of reflective wall, if you will, you can now put your social content in there. You know exactly, and you can visualize who you're speaking to. And it helps you now feel like you're helping someone actually, versus throwing it out. You know, some people get really discouraged. Oh, I got 100 views. Well, 100 people of that person, like, that is a really positive impact. You just got to spend some time trial and erroring it, but knowing who you're speaking to and doing things that that person, or in this case, that diagram of an individual, the journal entries, whatever, those will really help you feel like you are at least creating the right thing. Maybe just the delivery or the format might need to evolve.
We'll wrap it up there. You got to get into Rise. Come join the Health Coaching Success Academy. We do have a free tier where you get all of our replays, the trainings. Promise you there's a ton of value in there as well. So reach out, ask questions. Outside of that, we appreciate you guys hanging out today. Please subscribe to the channel. That helps us more than you know. We just want to be here to be able to help people. And by you subscribing, it's going to let us know that we did help you. So if you can click that button, that'd be amazing. Until next time, gang, thanks for joining us here on Beyond the Pump, where we break down the business of fitness and nutrition. We'll talk to you guys later.
Peace.